They said what? Welcome back to the show. We have a great one tonight. Candace on. She'll be speaking on Bridgett Macron. Candace thinks that that's a man. We'll see.
Trump certainly didn't. I know Trump, I think, stays much more in the mainstream media.
Yes.
In terms of watching what he watches. But
he must have been completely confused.
He sounded very confused. He said he was very confused when the leader of France took him
of
aside.
A nuclear-armed country.
During negotiations for Ukraine and Russia to inquire about whether or not he knew Candace Owens. And clearly it was an emergency because it wasn't like Trump called me 2 days after or a week after. It wasn't like a side conversation that, oh, let's take care of that. I was messaged by the intermediary hours after Macron left, maybe even an hour after Macron had left, and said, like, we need to get on the phone with you.
The President of the United States.
Well, first, the person said, somebody very close to the President of the United States is asking me to ask you to stop talking about Bridgett's penis. And
This is the true face of diplomacy. I love it.
True face of diplomacy. And I laughed because I said, okay, no, bye. This seems ridiculous. I kind of questioned whether or not it was even true. But I liked the person who called me very much, and I thought maybe I was being a bit short there because I'm 9 months pregnant, and I was at the time I think 5 or 6 months pregnant, and I tend to get short the more pregnant I become. And so I called him back, and I just said, can you explain to me what's really going on? And that individual told me that it was presented to him as a condition of ending the Russian-Ukrainian war. Like, this was something that he brought up in the midst of these negotiations. That's how it was presented to a third-party person. And then I was just completely bored, and I just decided to my husband, and the first thing we said to one another is, no one will ever believe us. This is beyond the realm of things that could be plausible. They're going to think I'm making this up and I'm lying. And even when I did eventually tell the story months later, people were like, there's no way that this could have happened. And until Trump didn't deny it, and then, of course, Emmanuel Macron is now suing me, and he included, as part of a lawsuit, he referred to that phone call and how he believes that presenting it as an element of the Ukraine-Russian war was wrong. Like, he was like, and so he's nitpicking there. But
so what is he suing you over? What does the suit claim?
well, it claims a lot. It's 200 pages.
200 pages.
200 pages. And what's really interesting is my series was based on a book. I worked with Xavier Poussard, who is a journalist, a very credible journalist in France, who worked on the story for 8 years and ended up having to move to Italy, move his family to Italy because of what Bridgett and her husband, France is a whole different political system.
Certainly is.
And they can just bring charges
it's
against
an authoritarian country run completely by Macron. And they pretend that's not true, but it is true.
It is 1,000% true. And so journalists that first got wise to the fact that Brigitte Macron kind of didn't exist for 30 years of her life were harassed by the government. They filed charges against them for, first and foremost, invasion of privacy. So there was never a dispute when she was bringing these charges about. She never brought a charge against people for saying that she was born a man. And that's what should be made clear to everybody. Like, that's not...
Well, that was fascinating. Looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. In our neighborhood, it's a damn duck. I'm not sure. This is going to be very interesting. Candace came with some great receipts. There are videos out there when Bridgett Macron sits. She sits just like Billy from down the street who'd had 3 beers last night. I'm just saying. I'm not judging. I'm just saying. She is being sued right now for, I think, defamation. I can't tell if it's true or not. I must say she did bring her receipts. I cannot say that she's just trying to crash the culture. I can definitely say this was not cuckoo. This was not corny. This is crazy. We enjoyed it. Have more for you to come. If you like the video,